Well, welcome to the Partner Alliance Collective conversations on better practices. Today, I have Kai Wille. He is here with also with Sudhir Nambiar. Is that the right pronunciation, Sudhir?
Yes, it is.
That's great. Great. We are not on a weekend today. Today it's Wednesday, and we thought to have a conversation around some important topics in developing our partnerships and our partner alliances strategies. And we thought to start talking a little bit about the elephants in the room. What is it that we have to do in order to build the right partner ecosystems, the right partners, the right engagement partners in this world of partner alliances and tech alliances? And let's just get into it right away. What does it mean really when signing partnerships doesn't equal revenue? What do you guys think about that? What's the underlying problem there? You've gone out into the market space, you've signed up all these partners, and you're just not building the revenue that you expected.
If I can go first, Kai, I think, does both the party know that they are in for the revenue? Number one, if
Yeah.
again, does the other partner know very clearly that this is what's expected, or is it only like, oh, you get 20% commission? So if there is a revenue expected, there are other activities that also needs to go along with the agreement. Demand generation, sales enablement, what are the other activities? How does the partner go and sell your product?
Yeah, I think a lot of organizations are too quick to jump into a contractual conversation and get things signed up without really thinking through what is in it for both organizations. And I think I'm on the vendor side primarily, and I find that all too often people are motivated on the vendor side to, oh, this partner is ready to sign up. Great, send them a contract. And so, so they sign the contract, and now you're askew on a price list somewhere. But why? What's actually the value to the partner? And and Sudhir, as you mentioned, there's key components that need to be addressed, and beyond what's the strategic value, but sales enablement is just huge here. And what have you seen there, Sudhir? And what are some of the key things that you see that partners are missing from a sales enablement perspective?
I mean, right from message. So good point, right? Just like as you said, from the vendor side, oh, this partner is ready to sign, so let's sign the contract. Right from that point to the actual sale that can happen from a partner, there are multiple people involved. The smaller the company might be, there's only one or two sales rep. It is not going to be as big a revenue impact for you, which you're looking for. As the partner size starts increasing, you're signing contract with somebody else. The actual person on the ground is somebody else. How do we train that guy to take this value proposition to the end customer? I see that is where the biggest ball dropping happens from one person to the other. This keeps going.
Yeah, let's stick with the strategic value a little bit more, and then go into the sales enablement. Like when you're really thinking about your partners, Kai, and you're thinking about the strategic value, you're not only thinking about it from the partner perspective, but all the way through the chain, all the way into the customer perspective, and then your way back. Right? In terms of at least setting
this is often where things are missed, where it sort of sounds cool to have this extra functionality, but do we really think through what is the combined business value that an end user would receive as a result of the partnership? Whether or not that then requires an integration or something like that is a separate conversation. But really, does the end user, are they able to do something that they weren't able to do without the partnership? And so that's sort of the end user aspect we need to solve for. And if we can't clearly articulate that, then what are we doing? And then from a partnership perspective, it's nice that there's combined business value, but does the combined offering or just the combined combination of the two products that are now being sold, does that open or additional doors for the partner that were not open to them before? Were they losing revenue or deals, or can they generate more services revenue? Something has to be there that makes the partner more successful than they would be on their own as a result of the solution. And it can't just be the discount they receive on the products they sell. It has to be bigger than that. And I think this is often a point that is missed in partnerships, is that and that's how you end up as a SKU on their price list that is then ignored and never sold, or it's only sold if the end user stumbles upon it on their own. And that's never a good outcome.
Kai, I just wanted to, I think it would be good to clarify these two things. Like, so there is a integration partner who can do some additional services or something because of two platforms being having some integration, some API exchange, something happening. So that is one kind of a partner who's actually with the customer doing things. And then there is also alliance relationship between these two technology companies. So, I mean, now both the companies can start thinking, oh, why I don't get the revenue from this partnership, right? It's very difficult to get that revenue until there's a different go-to-market on that layer. But the partner implementing, for them, you're spot on to say, like, what's the added on value for an existing customer or a new customer? Because they are always looking at the customer side, and how do you enable their rep to either go and sell within their existing customer base or find new customer with these two technologies integrated, which can now solve a bigger problem for a customer.
Yeah, and that's typically how I look at it, is I look at the partner's installed revenue and installed base, and start to, if that's part of the business plan that should be created well before we're talking about contracts.
Yeah.
Of, if we were to be able to upsell 5% of their installed base, 10%, what if we could do 20%? How much money would we generate? And that better be a pretty exciting number, right? And because if it's all based on net new sales that are not in the installed base, that's much harder. And so at that point, the partner better have a significant business pain that they're suffering from because they don't have whatever technology that we're supplying. And
Right.
so if that significant business pain is not there, and we're not seeing a huge upsell opportunity, again, I would question what the value of the partnership really is. And so, but these are the questions we should be having early on in partnership and alliances conversations, to make sure both sides are really clear about what we're achieving.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing around really having the conversations around those strategic questions.
Yeah. And
That
you know
really
what?
that does then now lead us into the sales enablement piece, because if that first element of strategic value and understanding it doesn't lock, then sales enablement then is a problem too.
Right, exactly. And so what I typically do, just to finish off on the strategy side, is I try to show them the money, right? I will build out business planning slides for them to look at that show them the revenue at 5, 10, and 20%. And they better be jumping up and down in excitement on the other side, or this is not going to fly. And then those slides become my sales enablement deck, right? Because I got to show the sales rep that 20% opportunity, because if they were to upsell 20% of their money, 20% of their installed base in their territory, they better be seeing their way toward a quota club or something exciting there, right? And so one thing leads to the other, but that's the key to getting sales enablement to actually work, and to get engagement from the partner sales forces, that when they see the dollars, right? And so that could be spiffs, that could be quota club, but it needs to be a clear path to revenue and a bigger check in their pocket every month, because sales reps are coin operated. And if we don't show them coin,
You're coin operated. I love that point of view. What do you think, Sudhir? That makes sense?
No, I completely agree. And I've been a partner. I know what it is. I know my life. I mean, I know exactly how this thing works. And not only me, I mean, we do this talking to customers. Most of our customers are partners and vendors. And so every day we talk to people, just and this is the same thing. Now, Kai, I just want to bring one point, right? But when you start a partnership conversation, right? It's an interesting thing. We keep asking. I mean, I keep asking just out of curiosity that if somebody is asking you, show me your existing customer base. Let's do account planning. Let's do this. Are you open for that, right? So most of those guys would say, yeah, they're very open for it, but they look at new business coming from a new partnership. And if that is not happening, then they look at the going and upselling thing. So expectations wise, right? Now, might be the management layer are on the same expectation, saying, hey, this is the business growth, this is the thing happening. The actual rep working within the partners company is always comped more on new logos than existing logos. So, that's where some kind of disconnect starts happening, saying, okay, where do I focus? What do I do as a rep within a partner's organization?
Yeah, and I think this is really important to get those points clearly articulated early on, because absolutely, I've many times, especially when I was working for very large companies, the partner would come in and be drooling at the global 10,000 customers that were, of course, working for or already directly purchasing products from my current employer. So they were imagining that, their product will be sold into our customer base when we're looking at the opposite, And so it's really important to clear out which direction this partnership should go and make sure that everyone's on the same page. And of course, in some cases, it is in fact both, where, the technology is being sold in both directions. And in which case it's very important to make sure, getting back to sales enablement, that we're not just enabling their sales force, but in fact also your own sales force. Exactly. And they better see what the value of the combined offering is. And so and this is, quite often I've had this problem, especially when you deal with very large companies in partnership, that they may not be willing to give you access to their sales force, and because for whatever policies they have. And again, you better figure that out early, because if that's the case, you already know that this relationship is likely doomed if you think they're going to sell your stuff, but you don't have access to their sales force, And so exactly. This is an elephant in the room, sort of separate from this whole thing, that partners are eager to sign up with big, huge companies without realizing that, you'll end up in their marketplace and a SKU on their price list, but you'll never have access to their sales force. And guess what? They won't sell your product.
I mean, this also drives to the fact about having a proper partner persona that you need. Like, there would be some large places you just have to be there just to be present. But then identifying the real partner persona, and, this is, I think it's in the strategic fit area where you decide, okay, this is the right partner we have to go after, and this is the value proposition, this is what happens. Might be they're not as big as some of the bigger companies who would have a lot of customers and a lot of salespeople, but they would probably never be able to sell your product. So it's I think that's the main, because any sales enablement, any marketing, any demand generation you do, you need to have the other party as well on the same page, that we are doing this together. We are, this is a campaign that we are launching. This is an awareness. This is the enablement. These are the other activities that need to be done, or whatever. This is the message, this is the method, this is the mechanism. Any of these things about all the three M's and 10 M's and all the kind of concepts that can be done. You can do it only if the other party is there in the full force, so that this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to work these things out really early in the partnership process. Quite often I do it even before we get to contracting, to make sure that in fact there's alignment. But I also find that there's a second thing that happens, is that when you've laid out the business value and the business case and you showed them the millions of dollars, and now you've laid out a sales marketing strategy that both companies believe and that could be successful. Now, when it goes to contracting, well, they're going to wave that contract through because they're really pumped up and excited about it. So meaning when their legal team wants to pick on T's and C's and redline this thing, somebody from the executive staff is going to say, we don't have time for that here. Wave this thing through. And so your contracting step is going to be much easier if you've got executive buy-in that this is an exciting thing to be spending time on.
Yeah, I really like the idea that the conversation begins somewhere and continues through to the end. It's not the same presentations, the concepts, the ideas, they flow through from strategic value being discerned, understanding what it is, putting numbers behind it, taking it into the sales enablement so that the sales leaders understand, why are we entering into this partnership? What are the goals of this partnership? Where is it headed? Then they're bought into it. And it goes through all the way through, as you mentioned, the contracting and all of that. But it's not like they're not discernible steps that happen in a vacuum. They actually connect with a particular process. I think that makes a lot of sense. And as we're already in about 17 minutes, maybe we should think a little bit about marketing funds and just close out a little bit on the marketing funds piece. What do you think is because that's the next sort of stage, is we're not only just selling, but aren't there other ways to get into the market space so that you're not lost in some, click through platform where you're just waiting, hoping that someone buys something?
I think it's actually crucial to plan that also from the get-go, because it has to go hand in hand and sort of interlock with sales enablement. Because sales reps, sure, you can encourage them to call their installed base customers, but it's so much better if you've got a marketing program that goes along with it, that's going to generate some leads from the installed base and of course from net new customers. So whether or not that is MDF programs that enable you to go to conferences, maybe support your partner at a conference, maybe attend their conference, or other programs. The whole point here is you need demand generation that would then flow directly to the partner so that the sales reps are seeing leads. And now when they've seen the sales enablement and the spiffs and they know what to say, they understand the business value is, and the phone rings as well, that combination gets sales rep engagement. That will get them to say, oh, this is exciting stuff. I'm not going to just, be reactive about this, but I'm going to proactively start talking to all my customers about this instead of just sort of the three that I'm being pushed to.
Correct. No, I completely agree. That you need to plan for your the marketing development funds, deployment and planning. At least a little bit might be, that's the chance that you have to take for that partnership, saying it would be like a draw from the revenue that is coming in as a commission, but that's something that is has to be thought through. Without that, the phones are not going to ring. Without that, nobody's going to go and do an upsell within their own customer base. That's not happening then, right?
Yeah, and in the end, I think what too many of us in the alliances world get wrong is that we just assume the partner is going to do marketing stuff. And our marketing enablement is we've sent them our data sheets. And so, and now we hope that, somehow they will know why and how and where to promote the solution. And then quite often they might even try, but their solution to that is to take your data sheets and email them out to their customers. And what, now they're hoping that the customer is going to sell your product to themselves. You know, that's not marketing, that's not sales, that's just a mistake. And so you need to be prepared to, with a real marketing campaign that you bring to your partners, that's focused on the combined business value of the two solutions, so that the end users, as they're being marketed to, are seeing why this is being promoted. And it's not about logos and features and functions, but it's about business value, and that's going to get engagement.
And how have you seen co-marketing dollars, or those are just strictly from the partner side coming into the other partner, meaning that, as Sudhir was saying, that's just a part of the money that's being made? Have you seen co-marketing funds, or is that just depends on the deal?
Yeah, I mean, typically the MDF programs that I've seen are 50-50 programs where, you know, let's say you're going to go to the partner's going to go to a conference, and at that conference, let's say the costs are $10,000, then they'll make an MDF request for marketing development funds for those that are that aren't comfortable with that acronym, and half of that the vendor would cover and half the partner would cover, because you want both sides to have skin in the game. But it's really important for the vendor here also to keep control of that, because you don't want to just send cash out for the fun of things, right? You want to make sure so many leads are being generated. Ideally, you're sending someone to be there with your partner at the event to help promote it. So you want to really show investment into the partnership beyond just cash, to make sure that whatever, you know, promotion or event we're planning is well planned and is well supported from you, and therefore much more likely to actually generate demand and therefore revenue.
Maybe for another day we should talk about it, because this is the exact activity which makes 80% partners not producing revenue and 20% producing revenue to be true, because there's a direct correlation of the MDF that you spend with the 20% that is active.
Yeah,
you tend to not invest into the 20% because, well, into the 80% because the 80% are not generating revenue. So why would I invest there? Which is a whole nother elephant in the room of why do you have those 80% and what could you do better about them, and on and on. Yes.
So that's another conversation. That would be fun.
I say
next week, Sudhir, we'll pick that one up.
I say we do that one. That's a really funny dynamic there.
Yeah, because
Catch 22.
It's a catch-22 situation, because you're the one who created the 20, and now you're the one thinking that the 80.
So that was very good, very, very good. Yeah, I say we do that one as well. We'll do that one next.
Yeah.
So thank you all for attending, for listening to our bantering around strategic value, around sales enablement, around marketing funds, which of course we will have again. Thanks, Kai, Wille, and Sudhir Nambiar. This is Martina Echavarria from the Partner Alliance Collective. Join us at www.partner-alliances.com and on the LinkedIn group site as well. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks.